Good evening, guys. The Real Shot 256 bringing you another video of Evening Crypto. This is the Evening Crypto Cast weekend edition coming to you live, recording live from the Western United States Pacific Time, 8:45, which means we just had a close of our daily candle at around 3 hours and 45 minutes ago, about 5 p.m. this afternoon. And we want to take a look at the charts today. Um, I am actually coming back from a work happy hour where we had to say goodbye to one of our leaders. So if you notice something different about this podcast or this crypto evening crypto cast, is because I have been out and about all day today, and I may or may not have had some alcoholic beverages. So hopefully you will be entertained. That will hopefully play out in your benefit. Also, I wanted to mention that I had a very, very pleasant surprise today as we said goodbye to one of our leaders at my particular 8 to 5. I actually was talking to a couple of coworkers who also happened to be recently into crypto, and that was to me very, very refreshing to hear. There was a point throughout the afternoon where about five of us got together. We all worked at the same place. We all work at the same place, actually, and all five of us were talking crypto. That was pretty darn amazing. Definitely a great, great feeling to know that my coworkers are also dabbling into cryptocurrency, and also to know that they are investing in Bitcoin and not really dabbling into shit coins was also very refreshing to know. And so, yeah, very interesting evening, very interesting afternoon. And just wanted to let you guys know that. And if you are new to cryptocurrency and this channel, highly encourage you to kind of do the same thing. Stick with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is king. Bitcoin has been performing outstandingly since the pretty much the end of 2018 and up until now. Even though we have seen some retracements from the yearly high of about 14,000, we are still in a very, very bullish posture. And again, I wouldn't encourage you guys to look in or dabble into other coins, especially if you're looking for maybe something outside of the top 15, top 6, top 20. I have been really a big fan of Chainlink from 2019 and up until today, because it just has proven itself time and time after throughout this whole year. I didn't want to listen when people were saying Chainlink was legit last year, but they've actually proven it. They put their money where their mouth is, so you cannot go against that. I am not. I am actually finally found a good spot to get in Chainlink. Not financial advice, but I'm just, again, love to share what I'm doing here with you guys. Also, just remember, from the standpoint of liquidity, you definitely want to be able to, if you buy into a cryptocurrency and your intention is to trade it. Again, another reason why, if you're new to the cryptocurrency space, stick with the top 10, top 15, maybe top 20 again, because there's more. You're going to find more liquidity in those coins, right? So stay safe. Always, don't spend or don't invest in this space more than you can afford to lose. That's always been one of the models around the cryptocurrency space. Everybody kind of is on the same page on that, I believe. And so let's get things started tonight. Current market cap is 290 billion, up from just a couple of days ago. 24-hour volume, it's sitting at 63 billion for the last 24 hours. A little bit on the lower side of things in relative fashion. And Bitcoin dominance at 65.3, falling about 1% from earlier this week. Certainly a lot to talk about, a lot to recap in this weekend edition of Evening Crypto. But let's get on to the charts. So Had some drawings, and I also tweeted out. If you're not following me on Twitter, here is my Twitter handle, the Real Shot 256 at Twitter. I would encourage you to, if you want to keep abreast of what's going on with charts and all that. I tweeted out this morning, Head and Shoulders formation actually playing out as we speak. That was this morning. Head and Shoulders formation actually breaking out from this shoulder, and we did find a pretty nice run up until about, I want to say, I mean, it rejected off the simple 200 at about 1100, 1150. Actually, let's get the official number here. The high was 11,068. So if you were paying attention this morning, we definitely had that formation actually play out. But I don't think. Actually, let's wait before I put my foot in my mouth. Let's get a more general picture of what's going on. I did draw some lines here for resistance on the way up. We did hit through the first one, but I was looking for Bitcoin to actually close a few, at least a couple of 4-hour candles on top of this, so we can start to kind of change our opinion on things, and see if maybe we start looking for higher price ranges. But unfortunately, we did get rejected off of this first initial resistance area at 11,000. And we came back from it, rejecting again from simple 200 here, this grayish line coming in here. I also drew this box here because this is where we want to be if we want to start getting a little bit more bullish. Now, I'm not going to get bearish yet. I'm not going to get down on Bitcoin as of yet. As of right now, we're still trading within a pretty decent range, right? Still avoiding, and I told you guys on my last video, we're still avoiding this death cross between the 55, this green line, and the blue line right below here, the 200 EMA. If the 55 were to cross to the downside on the blue line here, this blue 200 EMA, then we'd have to get really bearish on things for the short to medium time frames. This is the 4-hour. It does carry some weight, as I've said on this channel. If we do get that cross from the green down and under the 200 EMA, then we're definitely again going to look for maybe a retest of this area here around 9,800. Certainly the 3.82 could be in the play at 9,500, and then this previous bottom here at 91.50 or something at the close of the candle. We also have some more support coming down here at around 8,500, which also coincides. Again, this is sometimes these things do work out, right? We're talking about the TA of things. This is a trending support line for Bitcoin in the recent price action, and if we do break through these areas, if we break through the 97, 9,800 region, we're going to come back and retest the 377 at 96.71, retest the 382 at 9,500. If we break that, then we're certainly looking at 9,100, 9,150. And again, this area of support here with this trending support line here at 8,500, coinciding with the gap in the CME futures around 8,500. Let's actually go over and take a look at that. This is the gap that we're talking about right here at 8,500. Usually, this is something that happens. Again, there is no time frame for that. I'm just wanting for everyone to be aware. This is the more bearish case scenario. It does look like the bears are still putting a lot of pressure on the price of Bitcoin as of now, trying and wanting to bring the price down into the these lower areas, these past previous lows at 8,500, and fill the gap there. But there's also some business to be done with the bulls, right? There's also a gap at 11,000 that is coming up all the way at 11.6, almost 11.7, which I've also got drawn in our chart right here. These red lines mean that these are heavy areas of resistance. We've got the 12,150 area, which again, if we do break in this area, this is where the gap will be. This is where the gap will be between 11,000 and 11,700, as I was telling you on the futures chart over here. This is where the gap will be. Okay, between around 11,000 to 11,700. Let's go back to our Bitcoin chart right here. Okay, so this is the area to watch for. Again, we didn't fill the gap, or we didn't even start to fill the gap in that range. But it's important. Definitely keep an eye on it, because if we do and we start closing some 4-hour candles above this area or within this box here, then we can definitely start to say that, okay, things are looking better as far as the bullish case. But as of right now, this rejection makes me a little nervous, to be honest. I do want to see where Bitcoin does go from here, because again, we have that looming death cross between the 55 and 200 right in here. Look at how close they are. And actually, a couple days we were very, very close before we actually got this green this green candle here to the upside, bringing us back up into the 10.4, 10.5 territories, and actually ultimately hitting the 89 here above the 55. And then we found resistance here at the 89 exponential, rejected from there and settled underneath it right around about 10.4, 10.5. And ever since we've been, just kind of consolidating in this area. But this is a very crucial area that we are trading right now. There's definitely a consolidation going on here. Although it does still kind of present a bullish posture, because we are again on top of the 30 EMA. We are also on top of the 200 EMA, which is great in my opinion, because again, we've been bouncing off the 200 for a very long time. Ever since the start of this bull run, we've been just keeping it as our support, our vital support. Ever since, again, before April. We can go back here, keep going back. I mean, just once we broke above it here back in February 8th, we haven't looked back since, right? So that is a very a crucial area. As long as we're above the 200, I am not getting too bearish on this, even though we have broken it, right? We have broken it, but again, Bitcoin staying resilient. Bitcoin is showing us that it still has plenty of strength and actually has bounced off of it. So we bounced off of it here. Actually, let's go back here. The last time we actually bounced off of it, we touched it and we definitely deployed quite nicely off of it. So if we go and measure this move here, I don't think I'll be able to measure the whole thing here. Yeah, actually, let's try this again. Right here to the current yearly high, 84%. 84%. I mean, massive run, right? So again, and we touched it upon here. Let's measure this move once we bounced off of it for about 35% run after that, right? So every time, and then we lost it here, but then we regained it for a short period of time. We went back and retested the trend line of support down here, and we're now back above it. But again, I do want to emphasize that we need to close some 4-hour candles above the 200 EMA if we want to remain more on the bullish side, which we're currently just trading right. I mean, talk about just, wow, crucial. I mean, we are right above it. We're right above it. Again, if we do break down below the 200, we've got the 21, which is coming up really close. There's a lot of confluence here between the moving averages. I do think we're going to find support here again at 10,200, right where the 89, or I'm sorry, the 100 simple is coming in at, and then the 377, and then again that bottom area of support here, this trend line of support So, I mean, not everything is lost. We definitely have a lot of support areas in between these two. Again, if we do break this, we'll go down and fill the gap. But I'm not too worried about that right now. That will come when it comes. Although I did say on my last video that if we do this sooner rather than later, I think for the overall case in Bitcoin would be a lot more beneficial, a lot better that we go and fill it now or close or anytime soon, as opposed to actually having Bitcoin blast off these prior resistance levels and actually set like a new high as we drew in this scenario here, up to 16,000. If again this measured move actually does play out, could take us quite into that area. I mean, this would take some time. I mean, it wouldn't be instant. It wouldn't be, a 1 day worth of price action. I'm talking like maybe a week or two, maybe a month before we actually hit the 16,000. But it's certainly possible, and it's certainly in the playbook. I'm looking at that as a possible scenario if we do break out of this formation here. But it's Bitcoin just has a lot of work to do prior to doing that. So don't expect anything to happen overnight or in the next couple of days. If we do again go back and retest these areas and we go above them, and this breakout does play out above this resistance line right up here, this red line, then again, that would mean that this formation did play out, and we are actually breaking out of this formation and into higher highs again, around the $16,000 range, or the 786 at 16,200. All right, so that would be the finished move. But again, it's going to take a lot of time, guys. So be patient. Don't. This is something that sort of like trading 101 uh, suggestion. I want to say advice, but suggestion is, if we do break out here, you don't want to exit your position too quick, right? A lot of times we see newer traders into the space, and it's not a bad thing, but my encouragement to you is hang on until the run is actually over. A lot of times we leave a run prematurely, and then we kick ourselves in the back because there's a continuation to the initial run, and then we're like, oh shit, why did I sell? I should have just stayed in it. I should have just been patient. And patience is the name of the game in when you're trading any asset, especially Bitcoin, because of its volatility, right? We're currently sitting at the 21 in the RSI, which is good. It's telling me that we might have a bounce from here. We might have a bounce. So I'm not selling resistance here. This was a good area to sell, right? I skipped it. I was actually out and about, so I couldn't watch my trade. Once I had confirmation that this was a rejection here on the second candle here, then I would have probably sold somewhere in between this wick. So I mean, but it's always hindsight 2020, right? So we are currently hanging in there with the RSI. It's telling us that it's touching on the 21 EMA here. We could potentially get a bounce. If we do get a bounce, then we're definitely going to go back and retest this area of resistance at 11,000 like we did earlier. And depending on what happens there, if we can close in 4 hours again, we can look at this next area of resistance. We'll fill the gap, which will be great. And then if we get above it, this will be the next area of resistance, 12,125. And then we've got 12,550. That is also coinciding. Look, I mean, again, technical analysis. That's why this stuff sometimes you definitely want to pay attention to it, because we have this area of resistance, we have the top of the pitchfork, and we have these trend lines, right? Everything's coming in confluence. So this will be a major area of resistance, right? If we do break out, that's why I'm saying it's like, if we do end up breaking out of this area here, out of this formation, this is why this measured move makes sense, right? Because there's just a lot of resistance right here, and if we break through, that just means that Bitcoin has a lot of momentum behind it, a lot of buying power, a lot of buying pressure, and it's going to take us into the $16,000 range, up until about the 786. I do believe that we don't close a candle at the 786 at 16,200, but maybe we do wick up to it, or maybe just past it, and then settle somewhere below between we'll call it 59 and 16,100. All right, that's kind of where we're looking at for the more immediate, and I'm sorry, not immediate, for more of the medium time frame on Bitcoin, and that is again certainly the more bullish case, right? Um, Now let's take a look at more of the bear case. If we do break below this 21 EMA here on the RSI, then even though we're in, and that's that's to add more fire to the fuel, or more fuel to the fire. Sorry, if we do break below the 21 EMA here on the RSI, then we're going to go back and retest this area here in the RSI. If we do break into the bearish control zone, then we're in trouble, right? We're going to come back and again retest these prior areas of support, um, and again, it'll be a great buying opportunity. So again, if you're new and you're just buying in, and maybe you just made a recent purchase and you're like, oh shoot, I bought at 13,000 and now it's at 10,000, there's no need to sweat. You definitely want to make sure that if we do get back into these bottom areas in the high 9,000 area or low 10,000, is still a good time to buy, even though you bought it at maybe 13 at the high of this year. Again, you want a dollar cost average. That is a great also a great strategy if you're not really into trading or you don't know much about trading. It's a good area. Not financial advice, I'm just sharing what I would personally do, right? So don't take me as financial advice. A little bit of background for all of you. I was a FINRA certified personal financial representative for one of the largest insurance companies in the United States. And so I was certified to provide financial advice at one point, but I no longer have my licenses, so I am no longer able to do that. So again, I must warn you, this is not financial advice. This is just me sharing what I'm doing for entertainment purposes and hoping that you do get out of this something out of this video and overall this channel and my content, right? If you guys have a question about anything that I'm doing, definitely leave it down below. I would love to chat with you guys and let you know what I'm doing, how I'm doing, why I'm doing it. And then we can have a healthy discussion about maybe perhaps you can tell me what you're doing, your strategy, and yeah, just have a friendly conversation about TA. Would love that. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, your family, anybody that you might think that might benefit from this. And if you want to keep abreast of these updates, definitely hit the subscribe button and then bell notification down below. And we'll be staying updated on what's going on. So that's pretty much what I've got for Bitcoin. Let's take a look at some alt. It is the weekend. We do have some time. There is no rush. So let's take a look at some of the alts and see what's been going on lately. Excuse me. I have been talking a lot all day, so my voice is actually, my throat is actually hurting a little bit. So hopefully it's nothing that we will have to cut this part, right? So XRP having sort of a bounce. Not too convinced on this, to be honest. XRP still has a lot of work to do. To change my mind. I mean, there's certainly a lot of resistance areas now. These moving averages were once acting as support, where they're now acting as resistance. Every time we do that, we dip below these now. Once were our friends, these trending lines were friends. Now they're our foes, and we want to make sure that we do get the work in to get above these, and so that we can change our mind frame around this and start to get a little bit more hopeful, a little bit more optimistic on the look of things on XRP. But right now, it is good that we regain the 21 to 30 simple. That's always a good thing, right? Always a good thing. However, it looks like we're just trading right on the 55 with some indecision. And whenever we have that, I do tend to lean more towards the bear side, and especially since Bitcoin, if Bitcoin decides to have another correction to the downside, then we're going to definitely see XRP just break through these lines of support. It's always contingent upon what Bitcoin does, right? But if, let's say, and only if Bitcoin does not drop or go on a massive run and stay stagnant, and it's kind of doing this sort of same thing here and consolidating, then XRP will have a little bit of time to breathe and actually come up here with a little more freedom, right? Less attachment to Bitcoin. We've seen XRP do this in the past. We've seen it when once Bitcoin does get a breather, XRP can definitely bounce. I mean, it has a huge community. The XRP army is nothing to be messing around with. Those guys are serious about their XRP. So even though again, we're sitting right above the 21 and the 30, right on the 55. I'm still not ready to get too bullish on it until we break definitely above it and we start making our way up to the 89 EMA here, the simple 200. And you know right here, right around 3650, we've got the major 200 EMA area of resistance. Once we get above this, I would start to maybe change my mind around things. But as of right now, no way, no way, Jose. We're still struggling to make a bullish case. Looking at the RSI on the 4 hour again, it's looking like it wants to retest the 21 EMA here on the RSI. Not quite there yet. This could have a bounce. If it does have a bounce, then we could potentially have some breakage to the upside and come back and retest these areas. This will be a key area for me, about 34, 35 cents, and then the 200s will be a huge area, 36 cents, right? That's the 4 hour. Let's look at the daily. This will tell us more of the macro trend and more of a broader idea of what's been going on. Yeah, I mean, see, we regained the 30 simple, or I'm sorry, the 30 EMA, but actually, this is the 30 simple. My bad. But we have not regained the 21 EMA here. Yeah, daily is definitely not looking too bullish at all. And then we have almost contact coming up here with the 21. If we fail to break above the 21 here on the RSI, then we're going to watch our XRP come back and retest the 29 cents area. It's been a major key of support in the past. But again, the more you test support or resistance, the weaker it becomes, right? So look at this area. 1, 2, 3, almost, we'll call three and a half, and then 4.5 here. So at least in the recent time, 5.5. I don't know why I'm saying halves, but I mean broke below it, got above it, broke below it. So I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, right, in the near future. So again, this area is going to start breaking down for us as support. So we definitely don't want that. We definitely want to keep on the up and up. But again, it's going to take some effort from the XRP army and anybody coming into XRP. We need some news from Mr. Garlic House. We need some news, and some good news at that. Some very bullish news. We know that XRP has definitely talked about partnerships pretty much on a daily almost, but nothing really concrete. And we did have Mr. Schwartz, the CTO, recently come out and say, hey, look, it's actually been harder than we expected with the whole adoption of XRP. A lot of banks, so far, it looks like they're down to like 21 actual partnerships among all of the partnerships that they have mentioned in the past, which, I mean, I've certainly lost count. I mean, there's got to be like over 100 different partnerships that they have at one point talked about, speak of. And CTO, Mr. Schwartz, saying that they're down to like 21 actual partnerships. So this could be it. I mean, this could be one of the reasons why XRP has just been sluggish and lifeless, in my opinion. But again, it's got plenty of work to do. If we regain the 21 on the daily, that would be a great thing for XRP. Again, we're hoping that Bitcoin is going to stay stagnant and not have any more dips. so that we can regain the 21 and then work on this area of confluence here between all the EMA. So it's going to find some definite resistance right around 37, 38, 37 and a half to 38 cents. If it does break above it, hey, great news. We could possibly come back and retest the prior high here at 47 cents. But it's got plenty of work to do before we do that. So keep that in mind. Okay, don't go rushing into XRP just now unless you see something like that. Again, this is a great area of resistance. Let me actually put it out to you guys right here, and it's coming in confluence with the EMAs and the simple moving averages right here. They're all converging in this area around, we'll call it between 36 and 37. So actually, why don't we do this? Let's paint another box right above the green area I previously was mentioning. So if we break above this blue area here, then that would be I definitely start to get bullish. That would be a breakout of previous resistance and come back and retest this prior high around 47 cents. We'll leave this. I'm going to draw this here and just leave this here for the next few videos, just so we can keep track of what we have been talking about during these live recorded videos, right? So here it is. All right. So if we break this area to the upside on the daily, then we're good. All right. That means we're good. Again, we also have to break above the 21 on the RSI, and we start getting bullish on it. All right. So keep that in mind, XRP Army. BNB, let's look at BNB real quick. Having a nice bounce from the 200 again, kind of looking like Bitcoin. We have lost the 200 on BNB on the daily, but when we regain it, it's just been amazing. Let's put a measure move on this thing. Here to here, 385%. 385%, guys. That's nothing to shake a stick at once we bounced off of it. So it looks like we didn't even come close to touching it, which means, in my opinion, it's pretty bullish, the fact that we didn't come and test it fully, have a full test of the 200 or actually break down below it. It means that there's plenty of support in these areas, and we're actually on top of the 21 right now, the 30, the 21. We just have to take out the simple 100 here, this orange brownish looking line. If we do break above it, then we're definitely can say that we can definitely go back and retest at 38.75. We'll draw this line here as area of resistance or next target. We'll leave that here for future videos. Let's look at the 4 hour, see what the medium time frames are saying. It looks like actually pretty good. I mean, it looks like we want to jump above the 200 here. If we do, again, that'll be a great sign for BNB coin. We've already had a pretty nice bounce off the lows here, this local low. We're about 30% above this past low here. If we can get above the 200 here, then we're gonna go back and retest the 10 simple here at around 32.52, 32.50, and then from there there'll be some areas of resistance on the way up, but this is ultimately our target, right? If we do get above this, and again, as long as Bitcoin doesn't dump, it's always contingent upon that. Also looking like on the 4 hour, kind of like Bitcoin is doing, looking like an inverse head and shoulders. Here's the shoulder, here's the head, here's sort of the other shoulder here, but I mean, I'm not too convinced about this right shoulder here. So I don't know. I mean, does this play out? I'm not sure. I'm not too convinced. Not putting too much weight on it, because these formations do not work out for the majority of the time, right? Although RSI is looking pretty bullish, it's still in the bullish control zone. If we do stay in here, we also have a chance to go back and retest again the 10 simple here at 32.57, 32.50. Again, but we do have to stay and remain within the bullish control zone. Again, if you do see price action get into this area, this bullish zone, it doesn't mean that we're going down from there. We can have extended runs like we did see back here. We retested the 21, came back up, and look at the price action back here when that was happening. We got just an extended bull run here up onto the almost 40 cents region. We were closing a couple 4 hour candles in that region. So um, so for the medium time frame, it's not looking too bad. It does look like BNB could have another nice run to the upside and get above the 10 simple here and actually run and at some point retest this 38.75. Okay. Link Link is actually again looking pretty good. Same 4 hour time frame. Not really looking like a head and shoulders, not as much as BNB or Bitcoin. Um, but it is nice that we bounced off the 377 right in this area. We did break it. We breached it for just a moment. We came right back up, and we're currently at the right below actually the 200. So, and there's some confluence here with between the simple 100, the 21 EMA, and the 30 simple. Right, there's some confluence there. So it's going to grind it out. It's consolidating in that area, which isn't bad. I do expect some continuation of that area, but then we're gonna have to make a move pretty soon. We're definitely gonna have to make a move pretty soon. In fact, we can definitely say that there's a oh gosh, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's get rid of this. There is a trend line of resistance coming in right here, and some major support coming down from this area below here. And let's finish it up. Okay, so we're actually pretty full on this formation here. We're actually pretty full on this formation. Once we get to about 75% full, we do see a breakout. And in fact, let's see if we do break out, say somewhere around this time frame. This is what you can expect. We can actually expect a move above prior highs, guys. We were looking at body closes, not wicks. $4.27. We can go back and retest 4.98, $5. We'll just call it $5. We're going to set this area of resistance here, paint it in red, and so that we know we're going to keep it here for a little bit, so that in the future videos we can definitely refer back to this as something that we've seen in the past. All right, so that's the 4 hours. Let's look at the daily, see what the daily is telling us. Again, this is not financial advice. This is also I don't have a crystal ball. This is just TA, guys. A lot of times it works, a lot of times it doesn't. Don't rely on this completely. Do your own research. Um, I'm just trying to help out. I'm just trying to give you my opinion. That's all. So we're currently trading above the 55, right below the 30 simple here. I mean, it's looking average, to be honest. Looking pretty average on the daily. Um, I do definitely want to see it. Um, I want to see it break above the 30 and the 21 before I definitely can say that okay, we're probably going to break out of this formation. And again, this measured move here isn't going to play out in 1 or 2 days. This is actually going to take quite a bit. I mean, it's going to grind its way up there, just like we did here, right? Just like we did here from let's see this bottom here all the way to this area here, the middle of this trending channel here. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. So be patient with it. Don't exit or run it before it's done. You would want to have confirmation of a reversal before you actually get out of a position, right? But once we get up to $5 range, again, we can wick up there into the $5 range and then close the candle below the $5 range. So, and then once you have a breakout to the downside or a breakdown, then that could be considered as confirmation of a trend reversal, and then at that point it would be safe to say that it's pretty okay for you to de-risk or start taking some of your trade out, some of your money out at that point, but not just let the actual run play out before you actually start de-risking. All right. So yeah, that's what Link is doing right now. If it, the more bearish case, let's talk about that too. If it does break down, if it, and this will be again because Link has been one of the coins that just been outstanding, just having a lot of support, having a lot of resilience, more so in my opinion than Bitcoin at times, just showing more strength and more resilience in the charts. So, I am although I'm leaning, especially if Bitcoin does have another run to the upside, I am leaning more on the bullish case. And because again, we're so close to the 30 and the 21 that if we do break above it, this could definitely play out. And I am hoping that that happens. Full disclosure, I am in Link, not to show that coin, but I am in Link, and that's something that I'm hoping that I am seeing. If we do break down below the 55, there is some confluence, some support coming here. Pretty good support at around, we'll call it 275. Yeah, I'm sorry, 225. Sorry about that. 225, $2.25. There's plenty of support right there. If we do break down below it, then the 200 will be right there to hopefully have a bounce off of it. We haven't tested it yet. Um, Certainly testing it wouldn't be out of the picture. Wouldn't be something that would be completely off. In fact, it would probably be a healthy thing to have a retest of the 200, and then see how we react from there. Not a bad thing, but that is, I mean, it's not a very bearish scenario. Although on the daily, the RSI does look like it wants to turn to the downside and then cross the other exponential here on the RSI to the downside. And although it's in the more neutral side of things, it could come back and retest this bottom area of the neutral zone. And if it does break it, then we could definitely say that this area will be broken to the downside. A retest of the 200, retest of the 200 simple. I'm sorry, this is the hang on. This is Aqua. Sorry guys, this is Aqua. This is the 89. This is the 89. I'm really terribly sorry guys. I screwed that one up. I thought that was a I don't know why I didn't recognize that color correctly. But this is the Aqua 89. Okay. Aqua 89 has has actually served as plenty of support right from this area here. Again, this is the daily. Um, and once we regained it, yep, you can say that we went on a massive run. Okay, so yeah, this is the 89 EMA. Sorry guys, I was thinking that was a blue line. That was a 200 EMA. It is not. But again, if we do tick down and cross to the downside here on the RSI, we can definitely say we're going to retest this bottom area of support here with these 55 and the trend line of support here. This will definitely again be will serve as plenty of support on the way down. So if we do break it, then we're definitely going to test the 89 and very likely we test the 200 simple down below. All right. We did cover the 4 hour, 3 hour, kind of the same thing. 3 hour, looking okay. Right above the 100 simple here, this orange brown line, right above it. There's definitely a lot of confluence in these moving averages. So if we can break above it, then we can definitely call for this breakout. All right, that's all I got for Link. Let's go to Litecoin. Litecoin Army. Man. So this price action below this green line of support, very bearish because again there was nothing else stopping it from that point. Nothing else coming in down here to stop it except for previous support around this area here. This previous low. We'll just call it this here. We're going to paint it in green because that is our support line. So that is always a good thing. That's green. We didn't come quite down all the way down to retest it, and we did have a bounce. So this breakdown is definitely bearish. We broke down through these both areas of support. Definitely bearish. But the bullish case or the bullish comeback is that we did come back and broke through this initial line of resistance, previous support, and we're now above this line of support here, this green line. All right. Let's see. Let's look. Let's zoom in a bit, and we're right above the 21. Again, there's a lot of consolidation in every coin. A lot of this happening, a lot of consolidation. So it's a good thing. Definitely building some support for future price action. It's always a good thing. Um, and if Bitcoin does decide to break to the upside, then we can definitely say that Litecoin, since it has been one of the stronger coins in 2019, with a lot of things happening, especially with the halvening coming up here in a couple of weeks, all those things, all the sort of things, can definitely gather some support and some fuel and break up above this trend line of resistance. And if we do that, actually, let's paint it red because it can be confusing. We definitely want to make sure that we paint the area of resistance well. And then if we do break out, we're looking at previous highs again. These formations when they play out, technical analysis does a good job at letting us know what to expect. All right. So that's kind of where we're at on the 3 hour. Let's look at the 4 hour real quick. Um, yeah, above the 55, above the 21, right beneath the 30 simple here. If we do break, I want to see it break above this previous line of support here. Um, and then things will look a lot more relaxing, if you will. Not really like a head and shoulders. A lot of these coins, a lot of these altcoins, it's including not Bitcoin's not an altcoin, but including Bitcoin, a lot of these coins are doing sort of the same formation here, looking like an inverse head and shoulders. But this would definitely, I don't think, would be a right call to say that this is an inverse head and shoulders, although it does have a very similar taste to it. So. Um, and the fact that we didn't break out above this as of right now just kind of confirms the fact that it's not really an inverse head and shoulders. Again, this shoulder should be like more in this area here, closer to this prior shoulder. And then also we would have had to have a breakout sooner than this. This is way too extended. This is way too extended. There's too much consolidation for my taste here. Um, the fact that it didn't break out earlier is just a confirmation in my eyes that it's not an inverse head and shoulders. We did break down below the 21 on the RSI, which is always a bad indicator. We did find support on the 55 and the 21, currently above both of them, but again, in between the 55 and the 30. Again, we definitely want to see Litecoin come up and close some 4-hour candles above this green line of support. Resistance now, but once we do break above it, then it would become support again. Definitely want to see Litecoin again close a 4-hour above there. If not, I'm not going to get too optimistic on Litecoin still. Not going to do that. If we do go look at the daily, and especially, yeah, if we close a daily candle above this now area of resistance, then I start looking at Litecoin with a more optimistic eye. But at this point, not really too much to get too hopeful or too bullish on. Again, 4-hour at least. A daily candle would be a lot better. But just more consolidation here, more consolidation. We can't really. I wouldn't feel comfortable telling you guys, okay, this is what we're doing right now. Is sort of a no man's zone right now, no trade zone for me, until we see a more definitive build on the chart. As of right now, just looks like more consolidation. Let's look at one last one. Let's look at ETH. We haven't looked at ETH either. Let's look at that. All right, so we're looking at the daily here. Let's see, 89, 200. Got this right this time. So, looking at the daily, I mean it's certainly looking more bearish than bullish. Bitcoin went on a pretty good move today, although gave back a lot of its momentum and went back to 10.6. We don't see typically the altcoins running along with it, staying on par with Bitcoin. Just having a okay run. I mean, 15% bounce. That's not a bad thing. But just in the last day, I mean, this candle here. Well, let's measure this one. Measure this one here. It about a 3% move, right? When Bitcoin went and had like a 10% move almost today, earlier today. Ether not responding like it should, in my opinion. But again, not time to get too bearish on it because again, we're above the 200 here. 200 always being a good area of measure, good area of support, gives you plenty of information. Look, we stayed below the 200 for a very, very long time, and I mean, just a really massive area of resistance here since once we broke down below it, March 17, 2018, regained it April 19, 2018, lost it again May 23rd, gained it, lost it. Last time we lost it was June 10th, 2018. We have not we didn't regain it until recently, May 11th, 2019. So guys, almost a year below it. So the fact that we're still above it is definitely a good thing for Ether. We did lose it here momentarily, but I'm really, really glad to see that we regained the 200. Otherwise, if we didn't, we could definitely potentially see Ether come back and retest about 179, 180. I mean, this would be a gradual thing, right? But again, it's not time to get ultra bearish on Ether as of the moment. Again, above the 200, I do want to see it get above the 30 here, coming right above this. Actually, in confluence with this previous area of support, is now acting as resistance at 229.50, 230. If we do break above it, it'll be easy to break above the 30 simple here. 30 simple is not typically a huge area of resistance. I mean, it actually will act as resistance or support, but not a major area in my opinion. So if we do break, it should be easy to break through and up above the 30 simple here, and this will be a more significant retest of the 200 simple here at this gray line. Then we have the 89, the 21. So it's got plenty of work to do, and not so again, I'm not getting too bullish on it, but I'm also not ready to get bearish on it. Again, more consolidation. We have the same sort of formation as other alts here. And again, this is only going to help in the future, this price action here, because we are building a base. So that is the positive thing in all of this. But again, it's not telling us where we're going to go. So it's looking, I guess, in summary, it's looking pretty, pretty neutral at this point, like many other coins. Let's look at the 4 hour. Um, yeah, I mean, looking again, it's still looking pretty average on the 4 hour. The 4 hour RSI is ticking down, looking like it wants to keep going down. We're going to retest the 21 simple here, which means we could retest this 100 simple here, this orange brownish looking line at 217 to 217, 75, 85. If that area breaks, then we can look at this area as support here around 197, 198. But on the 4 hour, it's looking more bearish than not. Let's see. Hopefully we can bounce off the 21 and regain the 55. If we do regain the 55 and start closing 4 hour candles above the 55, then it starts to look a little better. You can start to get a little hopium in you, but not so far. Not so far. All right, guys. So I think I'm going to cut it here. Thanks for your time. Thanks for tuning in. If you are not subscribed, definitely hit the subscribe button and bell notification so you stay abreast of all of these updates. I try to bring you these updates as regularly as possible. If I did miss something, leave it in the comments. Do follow me on Twitter and Instagram, The Real Shot 256. I post constant content on there on those two channels. Give you updates on charts when I'm looking when I'm not in front of the computer. It's always easy to just tweet out an update on the charts. Um, definitely follow me there. Hope you got something out of this video in exchange for your time. And as always, I will see you guys on the next one. Have an excellent rest of your weekend. Goodbye.